going to summarize our lecture 1 class. Our lecture 1 of LNG 704, which is varieties of English. First of all, I am going to define varieties and intercontinental varieties of English, about the historical development of English language. Over roughly 1,500 years, English evolved through stages. Number 1, Old English, which is of Germanic roots. Number 2, Middle English, after Vikings and Norman influence. Number 3, Early Modern English, standardization through print and literature. Number 4, Modern English, global spread and massive vocabulary growth. So each period reflects waves of cultural contact, changing social structures and linguistic adaptation. So that was about the historical development of English language. Nextly is the summary of Old English, which is 450 CE to 1150 CE. The Old English period began around 450 CE when several Germanic tribes, the Angles, Saxons and Jutes, came from what is now Germany and Denmark and settled in Britain. They brought their own languages, which formed the basis of Old English. During this time, English was very different from what we speak today. It had many German-like words and grammar rules, and it was mostly spoken, not written. Most people wouldn't understand it today without special study. Later, in the 8th and 9th centuries, Vikings from Scandinavia invaded and settled in parts of England. They added many new words and had a big influence on the way people spoke. In the 11th century, the Norman conquest in 1066 brought French-speaking rulers to England. They added many new words and had a big influence on the way people spoke. Through this happened at the very end of the Old English period. It started a big change in the language that led to Middle English. History of English. Secondly is the history of English. The English language began with the Anglo-Saxon settlers in the 5th and 6th centuries, forming Old English. Later, Vikings and Norman invasions brought in Norse and French words, changing in the language into Middle English. The invention of the printing press and the writers like Shakespeare helped standardize English spelling and grammar. Through British colonization and globalization, English spread worldwide and grew into the global language we know today. Okay, the new discoveries and innovations. Over time, English has changed through discoveries, inventions, and advances in communication. The inventions of the printing press helped standardize spelling and grammar. Later, during the scientific and industrial revolutions, many new words were created to describe invention, discoveries, and technologies. In modern times, the internet, social media, and global communication have led to the new slangs, the abbreviations, and borrowed words, making English grow faster than ever before. Okay. Nextly is, what does variety means? What does variety means in this for this unit, LNG 704, varieties of English? What does variety mean? When we say variety, we can be talking about different ways people use of language. This could mean a whole language, a regional dialect, how one person speaks an idiolect or just a particular accent. It shows that English isn't the same everywhere. People speak in different ways depending on where they are from or who they are. Okay, what does the grammatical constructions and syntax mean? Now, this is how the people speak language. This is the way people speak language that can change depending on their background, and this shows up in how they pronounce words, the words they choose, and how they build sentence. The difference appears in every variety of a language, including English. Okay, now variations in different level of grammar. First of all, is about lexical. What do you mean by lexical? Lexical level means the vocabulary that people used in English. For example, British English. Okay, what is the English that we normally use in Fiji classrooms? That we normally use in Fiji? Is it British English or American English? British English, eh? So, British English, for example, in our British English, we use film, while American English uses movie. But they mean the same thing. Only the word choice is different depending on the variety of English. We, in Fiji, we used film as for British English. But for American English, they use movie. But we tend to mean the same thing. Okay. Nextly is the phonological level. Before is the lexical level, which means the vocabulary used for words, the vocabulary used for something. Okay. We have different vocabulary used, but the word choice, but we are talking about the same thing, eh? Only the word choice is different depending on the varieties. Now, the phonological level. The phonological level refers to the sound. In other words, the pronunciation of the words. When we talk about variation at the phonological level, we mean that people from different places or backgrounds pronounce words differently, even if they are speaking the same language. We tend to pronounce words differently, even if we are using the same language. Phonological level means difference in how words are pronounced. For example, in British English, the word schedule is often pronounced as schedule. Schedule? Good. Anyone believe this? Hurry up, hurry up. Hurry up, please, hurry up, hurry up. Okay, for example, for the word schedule, pronounce the word the class.
Schedule.
Okay, in British English, the word schedule is often pronounced as schedule. Schedule. The Y-O-O-L. Okay? While this is British English. This is British English. But for American S to be schedule. Schedule. The word is schedule. British English, what is it?
Schedule.
American English?
Schedule.
Okay. That is the different pronunciation that we have for words, eh? That is phonological. Phonological. These some differences are a type of variation in grammar of the phonological level. Okay? So, semantic level. Semantic level means the difference in the meanings across English varieties. For example, the word biscuit in British means sweet, crunchy snack, but in American English, a biscuit is a soft bread roll. The word is different. The word is the same, but the meaning is different depending on the variety of English. Then we have morphosynthetic level. Morphosynthetic level means differences in how words are formed and how sentences are put together in different varieties of English. For example, in British, people might say, I have got a car. In American English, they often say, I have a car. But they both mean the same thing. Okay? Pragmatic stylistic level means the way people adjust to their language depending on the situation, the listener, and the purpose. For example, in British English, someone might say, would you mind opening the window? That is like polite and a more formal tone of opening the window, asking someone to open the window. Okay? Would you mind opening the window? But in other varieties, someone might simply say, open the window. That is a more direct approach. They both ask for the same thing, but the tone and the style are different. These differences come from culture, setting, and communication style. So, according to this lexical, the pronunciation, all those that I had just discussed, just to sum it up, people often think that the standard form of a language is better than other varieties like dialects and may wrongly view dialect speakers as less educated. But in social linguistics, all dialects are seen equally correct and meaningful with their own clear roots. So the main difference is how societies views them into how they work as languages. Thank you.